Across the globe, human cultures differ vastly in their languages, customs, and belief systems, but strip away those surface details, and you're left with a simple, unifying truth. Everybody wants to be loved, everybody has hope, and everybody dies. We often treat death as a biological period at the end of a sentence. In reality, it operates as an active, shared psychological driver shaping the decisions we make. This is a diagram of the human lifespan. Notice the fixed boundary condition at the end. We possess a unique cognitive recognition that our timeline is finite. We know we are operating on a ticking clock. Knowing our time is strictly limited forces our hand. That constraint acts as the catalyst, driving individuals to seek out meaning and make the most of the years they have. Being consciously aware of our own mortality creates a heavy psychological weight. Left unchecked, that awareness opens up a vacuum of dread. To handle this, the mind engages in what psychologists call terror management. It is a necessary defense mechanism designed to process the paralyzing reality of a finite existence. Without a way to manage this underlying terror, human motivation would entirely freeze. We would be unable to plan, build, or strive for anything. To block out that void, the brain actively constructs meaning. It builds aspirations and future-oriented targets to anchor us to the present and keep us moving forward. To avoid being paralyzed by our inevitable end, the human mind relies on two distinct survival mechanisms: the drive for deep social connection and the capacity for goal-directed hope. Our need for social connection is a deeply ingrained biological imperative. Because our distant ancestors relied heavily on group cooperation to secure food and shelter, we evolved to expect and require proximity to others. Today, the modern human brain remains biologically wired the exact same way. We require social bonds as a primary protective shield against our physical vulnerabilities. The physical consequences of isolation are severe. Lacking social ties acts as an independent risk factor for premature death from all causes. This chart compares the mortality impact of severe isolation against physical hazards. Prolonged loneliness carries a health risk comparable to smoking 15 cigarettes a day. Conversely, strong social bonds act as a protective buffer, increasing survival odds by 50%. Social belonging is a literal, measurable defense system. It actively extends our physical lifespan. While our deep-seated connections protect our health in the present, we also require a mechanism to pull us toward the future. In psychologist C.R. Snyder's cognitive model, hope is defined as a deliberate, positive motivational state. It is a calculated way of thinking, rather than a reactive emotion. This diagram illustrates Snyder's trilogy of goal-directed thought. It starts with goals, the cognitive targets. Next is pathways thinking, generating plausible routes to reach them. If blocked by stressors, we produce alternate routes. Finally, agency is the internal motivation, or will, to keep going. Hope is an active cognitive engine built entirely of goals, ways, and will. It is specifically designed to push us forward despite inevitable barriers. When we face severe obstacles, our biological drive for belonging and our cognitive capacity for hope intercept under intense pressure. This cognitive engine of hope doesn't function in a vacuum. It relies on what researchers call social commerce, the exchange of ideas and encouragement found in human relationships. When severe stressors completely block our established pathways, our deep-seated connections step in. They provide the necessary psychological support system that allows us to generate new routes. Because our capacity to generate and trust our pathways depends so heavily on this social exchange, total isolation does more than make us lonely. It begins to strip away our ability to sustain a hopeful outlook at all. Love serves as the foundational infrastructure. It gives us the secure base needed to keep the cognitive engine of hope running when our timeline becomes difficult to navigate. This brings us back to the ticking clock of mortality. It acts as the ultimate boundary condition, serving as a powerful catalyst rather than a tragic endpoint. Without the definitive border of death, the urgency to pursue these meaningful connections and grand goals would cease to exist. A picture has focus because it sits inside a frame. This awareness forces individuals to self-reflect and prioritize what matters. When surveyed globally, Adults consistently rate the love of their family and close friends as their absolute most important source of meaning and motivation. Our finite timeline creates the urgency to strive for a better future. That hopeful journey is made possible by our deep-seated connections with one another. Together, love and hope give ultimate meaning to the limited time we share.